Hello everyone, welcome back. This episode here, um, I got some more pry bars. This is a two-piece, a 9-inch and an 11-inch long. They come together, but I've kind of taken them apart, but it comes as a set. And what I'm going to try to do is, compare these to the 15-inch that I did earlier. And I'm going to be pulling the nails out. Now here I've kind of did it halfway. This is a nail gun here, and so if you see my other episode on this particular item here, this is the 3-in-1, and so the type of nails I have in here is, let me see if I can pull it out. Okay, I think they're 2 3/4 inch long, I believe. Here's the nails right here. Let's take a quick measurement here. Guess what I'm going to use? I'm going to use my freebie tape measure. Let's see how long these are. 2 1/4. So they're only 2 1/4, which is okay. And then, so I use those nails, and you notice they got some. They have a little green slime or whatever that helps the nail go in a little easier. And then you see some ridges here. So I don't know how hard or easy. The heads are a little different, but I'm going to just try and see if I can pull them. And you notice that some of them, I did around 80 psi, or I think 60 psi, so they wouldn't go in all the way. I just want to see how these compare to the 15-inch and how easy it would be to pull them out. That's all I'm trying to really do. So, and then I have some other nails on some other sawhorses. These are deck nails, and they're twisted. And let's see how long these are. Now these aren't your straight, let me see here. This is 2 1/2 inch, and they're nailed on another sawhorse, but they're nailed all the way down. And I got some of these also on another sawhorses, nailed all the way down. So, obviously when you pry your nails aren't going to be like this. They're going to be more, like this into the wood. I want to see if I can manage to get in there with it somehow. Probably, maybe, I don't know. So we'll see what kind of effort it takes to, pull a nail out. But I just want to test these out. So compare them to the 15-inch. These are smaller. I don't know how much more leverage, but if you're in a tight spot, this might work. And another thing I'm going to do is I'm really not going to use these for what I do. I only bought them because I'm going to actually modify these to be a more of an urban survival hand tool that I'm going to modify, which I saw another video on this subject matter, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I never thought of your basically common household tools, construction tools, whatever, that might be useful as a survival tool if you can properly modify and use them in that way. So that's another episode. But that's what I'm going to do with these two small ones. They're really cheap. I got 2 of them, so I can. One's 15, or one's 11-inch. This is 11-inch right here, and the other one is 9-inch, which is smaller. Now, if you look at the grade of these, I mean, these aren't too bad. They're at least they're pretty clean. They're a little odd because you got one side that's kind of, uneven, different than the other side, and it's not that clean. But for how cheap it was, it's, after all, I'm going to be modifying this, grinding it, filing it, welding, or whatever I might do. I might even cut a little. I don't know what I'm going to do, drill holes in it, but I didn't want to, spend a lot of money to do that. But that's another episode, like I said. So here's the 15-inch crowbar, not crowbar, flat bar. flat pry bar actually. There's your 9-inch, and then there's your 11-inch. So just give you an idea of it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 15-inch pry bar to pull out one of these here, and I guess I would most likely use this scenario where I would, come in and pull like this. Now the nail head on these are a little different. They're kind of half-shaped. As you see here, they're not a full round. They're half because they're putting cartridge. So I'm sure it can be done. So I'll just pick this one right here. All right, here it goes. Wow, these are a little hard. Looks like I'm going to need a little bit more leverage. That's where the hammer comes in really handy. So what I usually do is I'll do something like this, or even like this, to really get in there. Oh, okay, there you go. Got some leverage. Need a little bit more leverage. There we go. So with the 15-inch, the 15-inch comes out. Usually you don't reuse these nails, so alright. Okay, so that's done. So that's the 15-inch. Alright, let's put that away for now. And it's not labeled here, but this is the 11-inch. And let's see if I can do the same with this. I probably need to use the hammer, get myself some leverage. Let me first try to see if I can even pull it. It's kind of hard, so I'm going to need a little leverage here. Let me see if I can. There we go. This popped right out, and well, it came out pretty straight. So that was the 11-inch, so not too bad. It worked. So there you go. Let's try the 9-inch now. So this is the 9-inch. This is the smallest of what I have here. And let's try the third one. So let's try it like this first. Of course, it's so small, I'm not going to get any good leverage on this. Okay. I could probably pull it, if I just put all my weight, but what would be the point, of this tool if I put all my weight trying to do this? Put a lot of effort. So go ahead and give yourself some leverage. Let me see here, like this, and let's see. There we go. Just a little bit more leverage, and then there you go. That's right. There you go. And so that was the 9-inch. So with the hammer and this, it's possible. But let's say you don't have a hammer, and you just have the two crowbars, or the flat bar that came in the set. So I got a third one right here, a little bit deeper. But I'm going to use one of these as like the hammer, and give myself a little bit more leverage. Let's see, because as you know, if I try to pull it, it's not enough. It's really in there. So let me see here, if I just do this, if it helps. Not this under here. Okay, there we go. Alright, so if you don't have a hammer, you can use your two-piece the two-piece flat bar set to give yourself some leverage like I did with the hammer. So alright, so that's done. And let's go on to I guess the next set, which is going to be more difficult than this. I do have another one right here. Let's see if I could use the smaller one and the larger to pull this one out. Okay. Of course, this is a little bit easier. It's got a little bit more leverage here, but using it together really helps. Alright, so let's move on to the next batch here. Can y'all see that or not? Kinda. That's up too high. So let me see here, which one is the one I'm gonna. So these are a little bit more flush. I'll take you out just to show you. So there's a nail, a little bit more flush. Middle one that didn't go all the way through. Let me see here. I think it's gonna be this one. This one. I'll try to pull that one out. And this is actually what's keeping the whole sawhorse on this thing. I made a. That's a little too deep. I think it was maybe that one. Maybe that one, I'm not sure. But they're more flush. And I want to see if I could wiggle my way in there to get to it. So now normally if they're really in there, like almost like punched in, where you can't get into it. Of course, you wouldn't try to remove this by pulling the nails. You probably go on to use the pry bar under here to separate the whole thing, giving you leverage, and then that would probably pull the nail out just enough to do like this, where you can get it out. But this is just to see, but this is just a test to see how the pry bar would work. Let's start with the big one, because this is what I use most of the time. This is going to give you most of the leverage. It's going to be a little tough because it's a little bit more flush, so I can't obviously just go in there. So you may need a hammer, but I want to see if I can get in there. I'm having a very difficult time. Maybe it's the type of nail heads here, but man, that's really hard to get to. Now normally if you wanted to remove this board, you wouldn't do this. You would actually come in here with, like right here, to get into it, to lift it up. See that? See, it's already, you see it, I don't know if you see it moving a little bit. You would wiggle it in there to lift up the rest of these nails, and then maybe pound it back down, and the nail heads would just rise up from there, and then you can get into it. But you know, I'm just gonna test it out. Let's see if we can do it the hard way, by trying to dig in here somehow. Alright, I gave it a try on this. It's kind of big and a little bulky to work with. Let me move on to the other one and see how that does. Now here's the 11-inch. Let's see if this is a little bit easier to work with. Alright, I didn't give it much of a try, but let's try the 9-inch now. I don't know if this is going to help any more than the other ones were, but let's give it a shot. Alright, looks like I'm just more or less bending the head, so just nail that one in. So normally you wouldn't try to do it this way, or you would do it like I would mention, try to pry this open, and then the nails would all come out, and then you can do that. But this one here, okay, so as far as getting a nail that's flush, very difficult. Even with a normal pry bar or a small pry bar, you probably need something else like a cat's paw or something like that, to really get in there. And you see I've kind of somewhat damaged my sawhorse, which is alright, it's a sawhorse, so don't mind getting it damaged. Let's see here. You kind of see right there, and see how flush they are, except for that one. Alright, so not ideal for trying to gouge out a nail that's already in there flush. The head of the nail is kind of in there flush. But if it comes out, like I said, if you take your pry bar and you put it right here, like under, like I need something to leverage myself, so that's why you need something to push up against, and you would slowly do this until it wiggles open a little bit more, and then the board would come up and it would pull all the nails up. And the other thing, and once you pulled all the nails up, then you could pound this back down, and then the nails would be left. It would be left coming up like this a little. So in this little scenario here, let's say I did that, and the nails are up a little enough to where I can actually get into it. So in this scenario, what I want to do is I want to see this way. If I push down on it, can it come out? So because a lot of times when you're like this and you can barely get it in there, that's all you can do is just push it out. So let's see if this works or not. Alright, so this is the 9-inch, and I'm just going to push down on it, see if I can pull it. Because one of the problems with a small one is there's not a lot of leverage. It's not that long. So we did it this way, and so I'm going to try it this way now. Seems like it takes a lot of effort. Usually, you know, you want to put some pressure and weight down on it and have it move, but it's not moving. Again, this is a different type of nail, but that's a 9-inch. Of course, you won't get a lot of leverage on the 9-inch. Here we go. Let's try the 11-inch now. Okay. Okay. So the 11-inch, a lot more leverage, of course. Let's see if I could just pound that down a little, just to. Okay. So 11-inch, you'll get that leverage if you could just get this toe, I guess, underneath the nail head. You're good to go and get some good weight leaning on top, pushing it down. It'll come out. Okay, so if it's going to work on the 11-inch, I know it's going to work on the 15. On the 15-inch, it's just way too much. This is an extra 4 inches. I guess for a guy, you know, extra 4 inches is a big deal. But when it comes to pry bars, it's also a very big deal, because this should be definitely easier. Yeah, see, very easier. Okay, it's coming out. Just to see, it's coming out. So let me just put this hammer kind of back in a little. I'm sure that's kind of wearing it down a little bit, but let's try back to the 9-inch. So here's the 9-inch again. Let's try that. Try it again. It's probably been loosened a little bit. Yeah, it's been loosened, but I gotta put a lot of effort into doing it. So, but at first try, it wouldn't work. But obviously, I loosened it enough to do it. So it's probably not gripping as well. So that's that test here. Let's try it with the hammer. Yeah, even though the hammer's a little struggle, but okay, got it out. Way easier on the 15. Way easy, somewhat relatively easy on the 11-inch. On the 9-inch, you got to put a lot of effort into it. I don't really use a small flat bar like this small. That's why I'm going to modify this as a urban survival tool. I'll probably also do that with the 11-inch, because I only use the 15-inch when I'm on a job site or doing something. Just because, you know, 15 inches is probably a very good size for that kind of, you know, situation. These are, like I said, I'm going to do another episode. I'm going to modify these to a little urban survival tool. You know, I think looks kind of cute actually, but so cheap that I can do it. I can modify it and do whatever I want. Alright, there's one more test coming up, and that test is, so we're working with these kind of nails out of a nail gun, which you might see. Some of these will also be like roofing guns or roofing nails. The longer ones, you're going to have like 4-inch, or is it 3-inch, maybe 3 or 4-inch nails, basically framing nails. But this is all I have. So now the other nail that I have is a deck nail, because I built a deck in my backyard, and this is something you might see. You see it's twisted, so as you nail it in, it turns and prevents it from going back up. But let's see how well it does with this. Now in this scenario here, since I nailed these by hand instead of a nail gun, again, these are full head nails, so they're not the other nails. So I get a full round head versus something like this where I only had like quarter, 3/4 of a head here. So this is what I have here, a full round, and let's see if I can get under that with the crowbar or with the pry bar, because in some cases you're gonna really have to pull the nail out, and you can't just lift the whole board. You just want to pull this one nail out. Let's see if we can do that. Now remember, this is let me see how focus. I should probably take you guys out so you all take a look, see how flush it is. Okay, so that's that. Here's the other one. And so I got 3. And you know, you can't get to it. See, it's not like underneath the wood. So see, not like this. See how it's underneath? That's going to be very difficult. But something like this, where you hand nail something, where that's probably about right, you know. And that, you know, oops, you change your mind. You want to pull that nail out. So I'm going to work on this one here. This one's kind of really flush. It has a full head on it, so I'm going to try to see what it's a little crooked too. Try to make it a little bit more stable. Well, just have to make it work. Usually you might use some kind of cat's paw on this, but don't have one. So, but this isn't a cat's paw test. It's about a flat pry bar. So, I wish I had my other one. My other one's set up really nice, but oh well. Let's see here. Nope, can't get it out. Alright, that's a 15 inch. Let's try the 11 inch. See if this is any better. I'm going to use this one. See if I can finagle it. I should have used some of this too. Forgot all about this little hole that maybe could. Of course, I still got to get the nail head. Still got to get the nail head in there. It's pretty thick. You see how thick it is. But again, normally you would not try to pull a flush nail out like this. But anyways, I'm gonna give it a shot. Well, I tried. You can't do it with this. And I'm not going to bother with the other one. What I found was that this probably needs to be grinded down. If you look at that edge right there on both sides, they're square. So that needs to be really thinned down to really get into that kind of situation. Usually if you could just barely lift it in there and then squeeze it. So you probably need to do some work as far as grinding this. Same thing here. You see the little, it's a little bit smaller, but it probably needs to be grinded down to make a nice bevel to it, for something that's flat anyway, to really just get under there and pull it out and everything. That might be an issue. I think my other one, the one that I replaced with this, I misplaced. That was a really good one. I'm not sure if it could take it out or not, but ideally when it's flat like this, you really don't want to do it that way. You really want to try to pry it off. So anyways, that'll conclude this episode here. It's pretty long, sorry about that, I was banging in for nothing. But at least you get an idea of capabilities of a flat bar or a flat pry bar. Really good if you wanted to, let's say, for example over here, you want to pry this up and then take it down. Matter of fact, that might be another episode, but anyways, prying it and then getting the nails to all lift up with the wood and then pounding the wood back down, and then that way the nails are raised up, get you enough to get really under there and then pull. So anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.